Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Safety Systems, home theater systems, media systems for your corporate environment, your offices, security systems for your home or office, life safety, fire safety systems. They even test your fire systems for you. You got to do those things once a year. They do that for you. Safety Systems, VFL, JJ Surlis is the guy to call. I talk about these guys. I've talked about them for years. They do great work. Whatever you need, they handle it. Trust me. Find them at safetysystems.com. Give JJ a call and ask him if they can help you with whatever your need might be. Somewhere in the electronics field, but give them a call. All right. This is our quick slant segment. I got 3 quick questions for the panel. Jimmy Himes is going to start with you. After Pruitt won his bowl game, won 8 games his second year, usually a coach gets a raise and extension after that. Then you had Leach and Kiffin come in, so they jumped him on the scale. So I don't think there was any surprise. Everyone kind of assumed he was going to get an extension. Then COVID hit. Everything kind of went on the back burner, and it was announced just a few weeks ago that he did get an extension. His raise won't kick in for another year due to the money losses of COVID, which I think was smart. But suddenly, that extension, which was viewed 6 months ago as part of the business, is now viewed as a big mistake. Has your view changed on giving the extension?
It has a little bit. And my concern in the first place was I like a bigger sample size before I give extensions and a raise. The other thing is, my opinion, Pruitt's not going to get this program turned around until he fixes the position at quarterback. If you don't have a good to an elite quarterback in this league, you're not going to win. You're not going to turn it around. He hasn't had it right now. Maybe it's going to be Bailey. Maybe it's Caden Salter. I don't know. But that would have given me pause for hesitation on giving him a raise and extension.
A good quarterback can mask a lot of ills, whereas you need a lot of other good things to go right to mask a so-so to bad quarterback.
Yeah, and a bad quarterback can mask some good things.
Good point. All right. Josh, it's been a bizarre year for recruiting. No visits, but what do you think the response to yesterday's loss is? Does that impact Tennessee's recruiting? Can't be in the positive, I wouldn't think.
It does not help Tennessee's recruiting. And Tennessee here in the last couple of weeks, we've talked about, well, you have the Georgia game that didn't go well for Tennessee. Bama's coming up. Tennessee went into this season with a really good recruiting class, and the thought was, okay, now show that you can compete against the big boys as you try to get more of the same recruits that they want. Amarius Mims this past week committed to Georgia over Tennessee. You have some others out there, Nyland Green, Terry and Ingram Dawkins, that are very highly touted players that Georgia, Clemson, Bama, that they're going after as well. This just makes it more difficult. You also have a highly touted class, a top 10 class currently, and some of those players are going to hear from other schools saying, did you see what happened to Tennessee against Georgia? Did you see what happened against Kentucky? So that's why the second half of the season needs to go better for Tennessee, because you could run the risk of losing some players, and it makes it obviously more difficult to get some of those uncommitted players that are considering Georgia, Alabama, Clemson.
All right. Will Overstreet, Vols are averaging more than 6 penalties a game, about 54 yards per game. That's near the bottom of the SEC in terms of penalty yards, meaning bad, not bottom good, bottom bad. They had a dumb targeting penalty last week. Bryce Thompson threw a punch and luckily didn't get caught. Yesterday you had Ramel Keaton with an unsportsmanlike kick to the crotch of a Kentucky player. You had an unsportsmanlike penalty call against your bench. You had a chop block. Is it too soon to put all these undisciplined plays on the coaching staff? Or do you say, no, it's not a well-coached team from what you've seen so far? Where are you on that?
Yeah, that right now, the unsportsmanlike, those kinds of things that I've seen so far, I don't necessarily put on the coaching staff. If you ask me, the offensive line not being prepared for a Georgia team to stem, I put that on the coaching staff. So right now, those are the individuals making mistakes. I look at those unsportsmanlike conduct plays right now as individuals that need to learn from that, get over that. Bryce Thompson's one of those guys. I think you're always going to struggle with that because he's had them before and he continues to have them. Right now I don't put those on, but like I said, the other penalties, the offensive line struggles, there are some groups of penalties that I said, yeah, that's all coaching.
I think that ties into what we were talking about also with the quarterback, because when you have a good quarterback, you can afford to screw up in some areas. If you don't have a quarterback that's above average, and as much as it's going to tick off Tennessee fans, Garantano's average, much like a lot of these quarterbacks in the SEC. Kentucky was about to bench Wilson going into yesterday's game. So he's not the worst in the world, but he's not one of these guys that can lift you. And when you don't have a guy who can lift you, you need everything firing together. You can't afford the turnovers. You can't afford penalties. Against South Carolina, Missouri, you avoided that. You won the game, barely, against South Carolina. When it all goes wrong, you fall apart and get blown out by Kentucky. I think penalties, turnovers, this is a team because of who the quarterback and quarterbacks are. They don't have anybody waiting in the ring. Because of that, you have to play perfect everywhere else, and they're just not doing it.
No, they're not. They have to play clean games.
Yeah.
They can't make mistakes. And you can't have these sack fumbles, or you can't have sacks to stop drives. You can't have the interceptions and turnovers you're talking about.
Dumb penalties.
Dumb penalties. And you can't blow blocking assignments on pass plays either.
Yeah, knock the ball out of your quarterback's hands.
Or just fail to pick up a blitzer who's coming straight up the middle line.
So a lot of those things compound it, and I think that's what Tennessee's going through right now. They have got to clean this thing up if they want to finish with a decent season.
Very good. All right. When we come back, the Chucky C-Note Casino is going to be paying some of us. Now, I asked him to split. He's going to point this out. You want me to split the panel? That means I don't make money. Yes, but we're still going to grill him when he loses money. So come on back. We'll figure out what he says about the Tennessee-Alabama line. Where is he going to set that? And how is our panel going to bet on it? Come on back on the Sports Source.